Alright girls, you'd have a good laugh at me. I've been talking to myself for the last 15 minutes. I've been doing this big summation stuff and I forgot to press record on the video. Anyway, where we have now, what we've done in terms of quadratic patterns is as far as we'll go. That's the hardest possible question you could be asked. For most cases, you're just going to be asked for the first difference, second difference, and give the ones that are missing. So fill in the gaps. And you were all able to do that, no problem. When you did have issues, it was because you were substituting in the wrong values. So the video I've put up with part 3 and 4, you need to have a good look at that if I gave you a comment that said you were substituting incorrectly, okay? And the correct substitution there. Have your homework out in front of you while you're watching the video. See what you did wrong. And then by all means, if you want to go and do an extra one, feel free and submit it to me and I'll correct it for you. Okay, the next little part of this then takes a look at rules of functions, and most of this, the rest of this chapter, it looks like it's massive, girls, the chapter when you look at it, but we've done most of this already, okay? We did it before the mocks, we did a lot of plotting and stuff like that. We have most of it done, but we just need to tidy up a few bits to make sure we're all on the same page, okay? So the first part that you're taking a look at is these little rules that can be given to you. So these are all the exact same, these three. G of x is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 7. That tells me that the rule to find g of x is this rule. F of x is x squared plus 2x minus 7. It's exactly the same rule, it's just written differently. So this is just another way of displaying it. And they don't need to use x at all. They might go f dot a is a squared plus 2a minus 7. So they can use any letter here at the front. G, f is normal ones, but they might use h. X's, A's, B's, C's can be used here. And what this says is, here's a rule, and this is the rule that you follow if you want to find what points you need to plot. So if they say to you, find, so the question would say, find f of 0 or f of 6. Okay. Another way they might say it is, the domain is 0 and 6, find the function. Okay. It means the same thing. It means that everywhere you had x or a or b or c in your formula, they want you to sub it in with this number that they've chosen, 0 and 6. They could choose the numbers -4, -12. They could choose fractions, which most people forget. They could choose a third, a half. What it means is you're doing substitution. It's just a fancy way of doing it. So what they're saying is substitute into this function 0. So everywhere I have an x, I'm going to put 0. 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 7 is equal to minus 7. So now, if I wanted to use this to plot, I'm telling you that my x value is 0 and the answer to it is minus 7. So that's my y value. So this was a point that I could plot. Okay. F of 6 is the same. Instead of where there are x's or a's, I'm going to put in 6. So it's going to be 6 squared plus 2 times 6 minus 7. And you work it out and you get 41. So my point would be 6 for the x value and 41 for the y value. So I would be plotting that point. Their basic substitution, whatever number they give you, you're plugging into the rule, and the rule starts after the arrow, which is the one bit students find. You're used to seeing equals, and arrow is the same idea. Okay. So I'll ask you to take a look at just one of them because it's not going to be a massive part of a question. It's going to be a very small part of a question. But I'll ask you to take a look at page 404, question 5. And I'll do out the answers. If you have difficulties, I'll come back. But I don't foresee you having difficulties. It's just substitution and you're quite good at substitution, like they had said in the mocks. Okay. The next part then is where we come on to page 406 and we go back to our idea of drawing a graph. Okay. We did this just before your mocks. And so in page 406 is their example. This is the graph I'm being asked to draw. F of x, so that's telling me here's a rule. This is the rule. 2x squared minus x minus 1. And I'm told to draw it between -2 and 3. Okay. So if I remember back to doing this class, we were in Miss Byrne's classroom. I can see us now in the religion classroom because we were kicked out of our room for some reason. And we were talking about how do I know what shape the graph is going to be. If it's quadratic, and this is a quadratic because it's got an x squared, an x and a number, it has two possible shapes. Either happy, smiley face, or sad, frowny face. And you had some other way of describing them to me, and I can't remember it, but I remember us all having a great old laugh about what we had said, but I can't remember what the joke is, unfortunately. Okay, so if you take a look at this one, this number here is a positive. So if this number is a positive, it's going to be a smiley face. If that number was a negative, it would be a frowny face. We also know that when we take a look at this, so the first child, if you remember, there's 3 children, here, here, and here. The first child tells me the shape of the graph, whether it's going to be smiley or frowny. And the last child, the youngest child, tells me where it's going to cross the y-axis. So what is its root? Where is it going to cross at the axis? And it's going to cross my y-axis down here at -1. Okay. So I know a huge amount about the graph already, so I could already plot that point, and I already know that it's going to look like this. I just need to get the rest of the points to be able to plot it, okay? And that's where your calculator comes in for you. So you go menu 3, and you'll get f of x up, and you type in the rule. So the rule, in this case, is 2x squared minus x minus 1, and it's equal. And if you've got my calculator, you just press equals on that. Where are you starting? You're starting at -2. You're finishing at 3, and that's given to you by this bit. And you're going up in ones, and you get your table with your points. So point number 1 is -2, 9. Point number 2 is -1, 2, etc. all the way down. And you can use to get the rest of the points, you scroll down like that. Okay. And now you plot the points that you've been given. Okay, so we know what it should look like, so we'll make sure that at the end it looks right. So my x value is -2, and I'm going up to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the usual rules apply. The graph should be done on graph paper, which I don't have. It should always be neat and equally spaced. Okay, so each of these are going up in 1. You should write all of them in. I'm just being lazy. 0, -1, which we said we had to go through. We'd already got that plotted. 1, 0, which is here. 2, 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3, 14, which is up here. And then you join it freehand, never with a ruler. So there should be a nice little loop on it. And we go back and see, does that look right? Is it the right shape? Yes, it's a U shape. Is it crossing at the -1? Yes, we knew it should do. And there's my graph. Okay. Things that they're going to give you marks for, labeling it X and Y. Okay, labeling your graph X and Y, filling in all these points and making sure that it's equally spaced. So, to be able to do the next part, girls, and to be able to discuss the graphs and get the graphs looking right, I need you to plot a few graphs for me, okay? So you'll need to submit the pictures of your graphs and your tables or your points like this. You can make it a table like it is on the calculator, or points like that. I don't really mind which way it is. So we're going to take a look and we're going to have a couple that are in both directions. So page 408, and then we're going to use these graphs, whatever graphs you do, to do the rest of the chapter. Okay, so you need to put the effort in and get them nicely done if you can. We'll do 9, 10, 11 and 12. 9, 10, 11 and 12. So that's 4 graphs, girls. They don't take that long as you're using the calculator. But still they're going to take you a little while. So if we can have those graphs done, we'd say, what day is today? Today's Tuesday. So if I give you all day today, because I'm still waiting on work from the previous one, so I don't want to put the other work up until I get that. So if I give you all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday, and they're due for Thursday morning, and then we'll move on with those graphs. Okay, and hopefully I'm supposed to get a laptop. Hopefully by then I'll have a laptop, be able to send on the graphs to you. It'll be a bit easier for you to see. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.